Have any idea?
Yes,
Okay, so let's recap it. Look, because this is very important. It's important part. You will get question from there. So we have divided forebrain into three parts: olfactory lobe, cerebrum, and dancer neuron. So forebrain is the itself the largest part, and out of forebrain, the cerebrum is the largest part of the forebrain. Further, olfactory lobe is responsible for simple that olfactory process. Yes, I remember a question. I encountered a question. You must have seen that there are some animal which have extra ordinary sense of a smell. Let's talk about the polar bear. Polar bear can smell the sense of the flesh or the blood from 20 miles. And the second, one of the best example is shark. If there is a blood in the water, shark can sense the blood from the 3 kilometers itself. And the sniffer dogs and all that. How does how strong their smell sensing is? So how does they have, like, which is the organ responsible for extraordinary smell sensing capability of these animals, like shark, like polar bear, or like dogs? Can you tell me? That's why dogs are used for by the bomb squad and all that. Any idea, Aisha? Have you gone through with this example or not? Aware with this example that they do have the extraordinary spell sensing capability?
yes.
Look, there is an organ. They have Jacobson's organ. Jacobson's organ. Jacobson's organ is an extra organ which is found in the side part of the brain in dogs and all that, right? And this is responsible for extraordinary, ordinary smell sensing, smell sensing, or olfactory capability, right? That is Jacobson's organ. This organ is responsible. They have something different which is not present in our brain. We don't have that kind of the organ. We use their forebrain only for this thing. Fine. That was a question I encountered with the question. So I thought that I must share with you. Then the cerebrum. Cerebrum is further divided. You can see frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal. Frontal means this front part. Parietal means this top part. Occipital, this back part, and temporal, this temple part. Side. Right. So olfactory is responsible for smell sensing capacity. Now come to the cerebrum. This is the largest part and the most complex part, and divided into four parts. Frontal lobe. Now the question have been asked from this cerebrum part, that what is uh, so frontal lobe. Frontal is responsible for creative ideas, designing, creating something, art, and all that. Translation, we translate the language. Reality testing and judgment. So something which is in front of his eyes, is it real or it's fake or artificial? Intellectual ability. Uh, Decision making. Reasoning means logic, producing logic. Emotions. So reality testing asks that question. That's why I have made double tick. Emotions, willpower, and personality. So they all are controlled by frontal. Then come to the parietal. Touch, pain, even this question asked. Touch, pain. So parietal part is responsible for touch, pain, hot and cold, right? Position and shape. Information from environment. It takes the information from environment. Cold, hot, moist, cloudy, whatever, or dry, wet. Uh, Communication to the rest of the brain. It also uh, help in the maintaining the communication between the part of the brain. Temporal lobe. This is responsible for sound and language recognition. The smell, uh, meaning, and emotion. Occipital is basically responsible for visual information, shape and color is recognized by it. Right? So the part which I have made the double tick. Those are the questions which have already came in previous year. Now the second part is the frontal lobe, that brain, that is the diencephalon. Diencephalon is basically made up of epithelial, thalamus, and hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is a basically gland. I have made the star. This is thermostat of our body. How does it like work as a thermostat? Suppose that it's colder outside. It will get the sense. What will happen? It will give the order, and because of its order, what will happen is our skin will shrink. Goosebump will come out, right? And shivering will start. That will produce the energy. So it will start producing energy and protecting energy which is present inside our body. So all these responses are from the hypothalamus. That's how it will maintain the homeostasis, or it will maintain the temperature of the body. And the second one, that is the, suppose that it's hotter outside. So what will happen? It will the expansion of this skin part take place, so that the surface area and sweating will start. So due to the evaporation of the water, the body temperature will cool down, right? So that's how it controls the body temperature. So its purpose is to maintain the body temperature, right, at homeostasis in 37 days. Behavioral activities like appetite, thirst, and satiety. Satiety is feeling of satisfaction, right? So, like appetite, whenever the glucose is not there in our blood, we feel like appetite, that we are hungry, and thirst, right? Whenever the water content is going down in our blood plasma, we will feel the thirsty, right? So these signals are produced by the glands. Respiration and heartbeat. This question again. But respiration is not completely controlled by the dancer. Hide brain is responsible for it. So that is clear. I think that is clear enough. Aisha.
Yes.
Mid and hide brain. The mid brain have been asked rarely in examination, but the hide brain is very important. Aisha. So you will get the question either from the cerebrum. The maximum question which have been asked from the brain part, they were from the cerebrum or hide brain. If you'll ask me, even out of these two, which is more important, hide brain is more important. So, midbrain, it is made up of two parts, corpora quadrigemina and corpora cerebri, right? Corpora quadrigemina, it is responsible for sense of sight and hearing. Corpora cerebri, it is responsible for impulses, right? Means it sends the impulses cerebrum, cerebellum, and part of bones and medulla. Means corpora cerebri is basically a cable. So you can say it's a like optical fiber cable between the forebrain and hindbrain. So it maintains the communication between the hindbrain and forebrain part, right? That is, so it's something data transfer kind of the function. Now come to the function of hindbrain. Hindbrain. So cerebellum itself means little brain, right? This is the second largest part of human brain. This is the second largest part of the human brain, and even this question had asked. This question already came. This is a response for rapid muscular activities like typing and all that, typing, playing music and all that, sprinting and multiple tasks. Maintaining the body balance, right? It maintains the body balance. Whenever you ride a bike, you tilt a bike in the turn, right? And make that body posture. So when the bike or you get this balance, doing this steady, your body to maintain the body balance, to make the different shape and different moves. So that is all controlled, maintained by the cerebrum. Alcohol, basically, you must have seen a person who are drunk or who under the influence of alcohol cannot drive properly, cannot walk properly. What is the reason? Basically, alcohol impair the function of cerebellum. So when it impair the function of cerebellum, the balance, we loses the balance. So can you tell me which is the other other than cerebellum, which is the part of our body which maintain the balance? Tell me, Ash. Other than cerebellum, which part of the body is responsible for maintaining the balance? Any idea, Ash? If you have any information, tell me. The part of our body which maintain the body balance other than cerebellum. I don't listen. Uh, Your voice, I didn't listen your voice. It's very able, very weak voice. Your mic, I think your mic is not working today properly. Yes, I got your message. It's a spinal cord. No, no. Basically, these are the ear, ear, ear and cerebellum. They maintain our body. Inside the ear, there is a liquid where the cochlea, that fluid, and they are the balancing organ, and they maintain the balance of our body. So, ear, if you note down, if you want, please note down. Ear, internal ear, rather than ear, note down not this external ear, the other pinna and all that. External middle ear is not responsible for that. Internal ear and cerebellum are responsible for internal ear and cerebellum are responsible for maintaining body balance. Full stop. Alcohol impair. Alcohol impair the function of cerebellum, and and that's how it disturbs the body balance. Pons varolai. So pons varolai is responsible for this is superior. This is superior part of the brain, and respiratory center is present over here in superior. Medulla oblongata. So its first function, it connect the spinal cord with the cerebellum. This question have been asked. Uh, they regulate the heartbeat, blood pressure, breathing, swallowing, salivation, vomiting, and coughing. Breathing and heart rate that have been asked. Go through with it and tell me if you have any doubt. Fine. So do some question. Yes. Yes. Answer is already. Look. Inside the skull, the brain is covered with the cranial meninges. Can you tell me what are those cranial meninges? Quickly, Aisha. Quick. Cranial meninges.
It covers the part of the brain.
What are their name? Name of the membrane. Dura matter, pia matter, arachnoid matter, and cerebrospinal fluid was there. So they and collectively they make the cranial meninges. Right? Remember,
Mhm.
I told you that that infection in the meninges cause meningitis. That we also call brain fever. Inside the skull, the brain is covered by cranial meninges, consist of an outer layer called dura mater. We discussed that. Cranial meninges consist of very thin middle layer is called arachnoid matter. That is like web. And even I told you that that question I've been asked between the dura mater and arachnoid matter, there is a fluid we call cerebrospinal fluid, and that fluid uh, uh, absorb the jerk. Cranial meninges contain the inner layer, which is uh, which is uh, contact with the brain tissues called pia matter, right? The brain can be divided of all of above. The forebrain consists of, is it? Tell me the answer of this one. The forebrain consists of, sorry, sorry. Is it correct or not?
Yes, correct.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure hypothalamus and thalamus are part of forebrain?
Mhm.
No, they are not. The answer is incorrect, right? So, what will be the answer? Answer will be what? A. We need to make correction. A is the answer, right? Hypothalamus and thalamus are not part of, they are the part of hypothalamus and thalamus are the part of hindbrain. They are not part of forebrain. So, the major part of the human brain is cerebrum. That is the biggest part, right? A deep cleft that divides the cerebrum longitudinally into two halves, which is termed as left and right brain. Cerebral hemisphere. We have just seen the diagram, cerebral hemisphere. The hemisphere are connected by the tract of nerve fiber called corpus callosum, right? That's important. This was important question. Corpus callosum. So corpus callosum is a tract of nerve fiber that controls what this question is asking here in this diagram. You can see this is the right hemisphere and left hemisphere. Both are connected with a kind of the nerve fiber, and the question is asking what is the name of that nerve fiber. Basically, that name of the nerve fiber is corpus callosum, right? That you need to remember. The layer of cells which cover the cerebral hemisphere is called cerebral cortex. So there were some questions. They are not previous year questions. They are the question, just question. Now come to the very important part, that is the transmission of nerve impulse. These are the handwritten notes, and they are basically meant for the need only. Exclusively, I have made them for the need. So, transmission of the nerve impulse and means how does the information travel from one part of the body to another part. We know that with the help of the neuron, right? So, neurons are the wires of our body which take the information from one point to another. For example, someone had touched my finger, or like some animal or some insect have bitten on my finger, I will feel the pain. Like this information of, like, suppose that an ant uh, uh, have already bitten in my finger. So when it bites, that information goes through with the help of the wire and it will reach the brain, and they are the nerves. So how does this information will run, right? So this information run across these wires, and they are the neurons. And information run in the form of sodium and potassium ions, right? Why not electron? Can you tell me, Aisha? Why not information run in the form of electron? Like in the wires, electric wire, electronic wire, the information run in the form of electrons only. You must have gone through with the physics, and you must have got this concept that electron run from one point to another point, and they send the information from one point to another point with the help of even current run in the form of electron, right? Why not electron run? Why electron can't run in our neurons? No, look, our body have very high resistance for electron. Not only neuron, our body have high resistance for it. So electron cannot run in our body. And this is the reason that electric current damages body a lot. Whenever we touch some electric object, and uh, if a person come in contact with the electric shock, and he or she get burned with that electron. Why? Electron, lots of electron start traveling in the body, and body is resistant to electrons. So because of traveling of that electron, the heat is produced, and this can get burned, right? So electron, these neurons are not meant for electron. They are resistant to electron. Electron cannot run in the body. So information in our body run in the form of sodium and potassium ion. There is a theory which explains how does the information travel from one point to another point. So that, remember who given this theory. Everything which is underlined, you have to remember. This theory which explains the transfer of electron or information from one point to another. This theory was given by a scientist, two scientists, Edukiran and Huxley, in late 1930. The theory states that electrical event in the nerve fiber governed by differential permeability of its membrane to sodium and potassium. What is differential permeability? That's what I want to get. Differential permeability means this is not equally permeable. So, do you have idea of uniport, antiport, and symport, antiport, and uniport? Tell me, Aisha.
No,
Your voice is not clear to me, actually, Aisha. Uh, yes or no?
no, sir.
Okay, let me tell you. I will tell you here. Basically, suppose that this is plasma membrane. Consider it is plasma. Across the plasma membrane, there are some protein molecule which traverse across the membrane, right? So these protein molecule, right, they are called carriers, right? So when any molecule either can pass through this direction, any of direction, when a single ion, when a single ion is suppose that's chloride, single ion is can be transferred in one go, either inward or outward. So they are called unipole. There are some other protein molecule or channel. They are called channel, ion channel. We basically call them ion channel. So ion channel, sometime what happens, right? Two molecules are transported along with each other. Two molecules are transported along with each other, right? In the same direction, right? Calcium and glucose. This question have been asked twice. Calcium ion and glucose are transported simultaneously in the same direction. So two ions are transported in the same direction. We call them import. There are another kind of ion channel where what happens? If one ion will go inside, another ion will come outside. Means in opposite direction. This is like if sodium ion will go inside, then potassium will come outside. Right? Potassium ion will come outside. So they are in opposite directions. They are called antipodes. Right? So unipode and sympode and antipode are collectively where the two ions travel simultaneously. This is called co-transport. Right? So the transport across the membrane can be unipode or co-transport. Co-transport can be of two types, sympode and antipode. So sodium and potassium pump, they are called ion channel or pump. Sodium or potassium pump, they are antipode. Is that clear? Please note down. And please note down all these examples because the question have been asked from the calcium and glucose. Calcium and glucose are transported across the membrane. They are unipode, sympode, antipode, that kind of question. Or which of the following is transported as in sympode? Done? Note it down, Aisha?
Yes, I done.
Okay. So look. So differential permeability because it is antipode. So antipode. So when three sodium ion goes inside, two potassium ion comes outside. So that is the differential permeability. There is a difference. Means it's not like that three sodium ion will go in, then three potassium ion will come outside. It's not like that. If throws 3 sodium ion will go inside, 2 potassium ion will come outside. If 2 potassium ion will go inside, 3 sodium ion will come outside. So antipode in opposite direction. So we can define it in two process or in two steps, right? Two main phases of the transport: resting membrane or potential resting membrane potential of nerve when there is a no impulse, right? When there is a no information or no impulse is there in neuron, then we call it resting membrane potential of nerve or no impulse. Action membrane potential of nerve when impulse is running. In normal condition, when it is in resting position, right? Try to understand. At resting position, what happened? 3 sodium ion will be pumped out and 2 potassium ion will be pumped in. So because of this, you can see, because of this, when sodium ions are, means positive ions are more outside and comparatively less in lower side. So outside of the membrane, there will be positive charge because of high sodium. And inside there will be negative charge comparative. So that is the resting potential. And we called polarized membrane. So in polarized membrane, outside of the membrane of neuron, there will be positive charge and inside there will be negative. What happens when it get any information? It get depolarized. What will happen? The opposite movement will start. Sodium ion will start going inside and potassium ion will start coming outside. So because of this, what will happen? We have divided this cell into different sides: A, B, and C, right? So A side, what will happen? Sodium ion will come inside, means more positive inside and less positive outside. So inside there will be positive charge and outside there will be negative charge. Now at A side there is a positive charge and in B side there is a negative charge. So information will start traveling from A to B. And at the outside of the membrane, this positive ion will start moving from B to A. So the same thing will happen in next step from B to C, and in outside it will be from C to B, right? That's how the impulse goes outside. So when there is a threshold stimulus is applied, rapidly influx of sodium ion will start, polarity will get reversed, right? It is called action potential of nerve impulse. Current will start flowing from A side to B side in inner membrane, and on outer side the current will start from B to A side. And that's how the movement of impulse take place from one place to another place in neurons. Tell me, is it clear?
Yes.
So this is very important, right? So either you can take this screenshot or after the class you can note down whatever you feel comfortable. But download from here as well. Do you have idea about this one? Electric synapse and chemical synapse? Aisha? You can message me. Actually. Sometimes most of the time your voice do not come to me. If you know the concept, I will skip. If you don't know, then I will discuss. Okay, fine, no issue. Right. Try to understand. And if you have any doubt, you can interrupt. Right. Look. Uh, First, I will give you an idea. Look, there are. We have already discussed that the junction between two neurons are known as synapse or naps. Right. That is the junction between two. So most of the time, two neurons are not directly in contact with. There is a gap. Right? But in some area, neurons are directly contacted. So there are synapse or naps can be of two types. electrical synapse when there is a this is presynaptic node means the part of first neuron. This is postsynaptic node means the part of the second neuron. Right. There is a direct connection between those two neurons. These kind of the synapses are called electrical synapse. But most of the synapses are chemical synapse. Means there is a no direct transfer of sodium ion takes place. Right. The transfer of information between two neurons takes place too with the help of chemical, and that is called neurotransmitter. Right. This is called gap junction. The gap between this or the junction between two neurons in electrical synapse we call gap junction, and the in chemical synapse this is called synaptic cleft. Right. In electrical synapse, what happened? Look, in electrical synapse, what happened? Okay, an electrical synapse, what happened? In the gap junction, a small protein tubular structure are present. These are a small protein tubular structure that allow the movement of ion between two neurons. And the faster transmission takes place, these kind of the junction. So these kind of the junctions are basically found in our brain, where the fastest information travel and even the faster traveling of information is required, but they are not found across our body. Normally, normal neurons, how does they transfer information from one neuron to another? So there is a this uh, chemical junction or chemical synapse. Now what happened? So try to understand, Isa. If you have any doubt, you can interrupt me. Look, this part is this is presynaptic node, means the part of first neuron. This is postsynaptic membrane, means the part of another neuron, second neuron, right? Between these two, we call it synaptic cleft. First, when information come to the first neuron, information come over here. When the information reaches over here, what happened? What is the first thing? That is the nerve impulse arrive in the presynaptic node. Second, the calcium ion enters from the cleft node. So what happened? Because of this information, when reaches to here, the calcium ion start gushing to inside the node. Right, calcium ion comes inside. Because of entry of this calcium ion, these vesicles which are filled with this some neurotransmitter or some chemical, they start traveling to below, means downward. Uh, the synaptic vesicle moves downward, they get rupture. These vesicles come and rupture. These vesicles are basically filled with a kind of chemical called neurotransmitter, right? So the vesicle rupture, and because of rupturing, neurotransmitter is spread over here, right? When neurotransmitter is spread over here, uh, in this membrane, postsynaptic membrane, there is a right some receptor, right? These receptor, they this transmitter bind with the receptor. Transmitter means neurotransmitter will bind with receptor. Sodium. Now, what will happen because of receptor? Because of binding of the neurotransmitter, sodium ion are allowed. This channel will open, right? Means this gateway will open and sodium will come inside, right? Sodium ions are allowed, and now the depolarization of action potential will start in next neuron. So this is called chemical synapse. Go through with it and tell me if you have any doubt, Asha. This is important. These both are important. I have tried to explain the very lucid manner. You can take this screenshot because this diagram is not from any book, right? You can take a screenshot of this one. Now, reflex action is easy. It is important for. It was important for your CBSE exam, but not important. But still, I will tell me. You have idea about the reflex or not? Not now. Yes or no? Tell me. It's easy. It's not that much important for your need because it's the process. Here you have to just remember the relay part, which is responsible for reflex. Afferent, efferent, we have already discussed. Aisha, reflex action, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Again, let's discuss some questions. Neurons are excitable cell because their membrane is polarized state. Their membrane are unpolarized, cell body and dendroid, swan cell. Their membrane is polarized state, right? You know. When neuron is not conducting any impulse, resting, the external membrane is comparatively more permeable to the potassium. Potassium will go on inside and sodium will come outside. The electrical potential difference across the resting membrane is called resting potential. A nerve impulse is transmitted from one neuron to another neuron to the junction are called synapse. When the stimulus is applied to site A on polarized membrane, at site A become pre-permeable to sodium ion. Sodium ion will start coming inside. They are simple, but they are confusing questions. It's a good question, this one. The neural system of all animal is composed of highly specialized cells which can detect or receive transmit what they are called neurons, just we know. The process through which two or more organs interact and complement function with each other, that is called coordination. And basically, coordination we will study in uh, next chapter, control and coordination, chemical control. Which system provides chemical integration through hormones? Endocrine system. The polarity of membrane site A is reversed and depolarized, and the electrical potential difference across the membrane at site A is called action potential. Transmission of impulse across the electrical synapse is very similar to the impulse conduction along the single axon. Impulse transmission across the electrical synapse takes place, important question, always faster than across the chemical synapse. Why? Because there is a direct transfer of sodium ion, which is quick, right? And that takes place in there. It's a good question. A chemical synapse membrane, pre or post synaptic neuron are separated by fluid field called synaptic cleft. That is in diagram. When an impulse action potential arrives at axon terminal, it stimulates the movement of synaptic vesicle toward the membrane. When they fuse with the plasma membrane and release their neuron, that is the uh, neurotransmitter in the synaptic cleft. It is also there in diagram. The release of neurotransmitter bind to a specific receptor present on the post-synaptic membrane. The new potential developed during the neuron transmitter may be either the new potential developed during neuron transmission may be either cerebral cortex, right, excitatory, inhibitory, both B and C. Yes, excitatory or inhibitory means the new potential developed, either it will suppress our action, mean it will stop, or it will induce the action, right? So both B and C. So these were some questions based on the what we studied. I is, the maximum question asked in the nervous system from I, and almost every year question come from I. Almost every year they ask, like, so you go through with your NCRT till the I, like before the I, whatever you have studied before the I, and ask if you have any doubt. Because I we will discuss in next class. I is very important, and I is very important part. It's very important. Its anatomy is important, and even its functionality is a bit important. But anatomy is very important. Go through with previous year question paper. You will find the maximum question in neurons are from the eye. We'll try to bring out some previous year question from the eye, and we'll discuss that. Eye is very important. So go through with your NCRT, whatever we have studied till now, and ask me a question or doubt you have, Aisha. Ask Asha if you have any doubt.
No, sir. No doubt.
Okay, fine. So go through with it, and let's meet in the next class.